take a look at the first attachment.
You want the pictures first, or last?
That's fine, Mr. Long.
Yes, sir.
You and Mr. Foster want to tell the story?
We will. I'll get Denver, I brought Denver for backup just in case you had some real technical questions. As you guys remember, when we had our surplus auction of the buses, one of the goals that we had with that extra money was to buy us a service truck. Well, me and Denver and my other two shop guys have went back and forth ever since about what we really needed and what would benefit our needs. The goal was to have tool storage, an air compressor, and some way to lift the tires if we had a flat, to have them up on the back. So we had to look at like adding a Tommy lift or a boom or something. And so we spec'd 2 or 3 trucks and never could come up with a design or a specification that we all liked, that we thought would really be beneficial to us. You know, if you done all of this, we talked about buying a pickup and putting all of that on a skid to where we could just load it with a forklift, to where the truck could be used for different things. And so we went back and forth, and the week during the rain, we had a couple of buses that got stuck in their turnaround. And when I say stuck, if you missed the gravel just a little bit with those dual wheel tires, the bus is kind of just stuck in it. It needed a little tug to get out. And in the past, we've used a Hummer that we bought to go out and pull them out. And it's done a great job. It's more than paid for itself in towing bills. But we had one that was a little bit of a challenge to get out, that we had to really work with it. It was on a downhill slope. Well, a day or two later, Denver come in and he said, hey, why don't we look at buying a wrecker as our service truck? And my first thought was, well, you know, we don't want to get into the wrecker business. That's just too much to do. And he said, don't listen to me. He said, it's got the tool body on it. He said, it's got an air compressor on it. We could use the boom to put the tires on it. And he said, I'm not saying that I want to get into towing something to Atlanta. He said, but then we'd have a service truck, and we could also go out, if we had a bus that was stuck, or broke down locally, and grab it and pull it back into the garage, and save some money on that side also. He said, I agree that we don't want to get to taking something to the dealership and fighting Atlanta traffic. He said, but it would meet all the needs. Well, we left, and we all thought about it a day or two, and come back and say, well, you know what? I think that meets all of our needs. So this is a 2002 International that is being traded in by Revelation Towing in North Carolina, and they're getting ready to buy a new one. It's had an engine overhaul. Before he traded it in, we're actually going to buy it from if the board approves, from the towing company. But he overhauled the engine. It has a new turbo, new injectors. Denver has been up and looked at it and checked it out for us on that side, and felt very confident with the mechanical side aspects of the truck. And the price is $37,500, and which turned out to be cheaper than any of the new service trucks we were pricing. But now we were pricing new stuff and having to add everything on it. Again, this money will be purchased this truck will be purchased from our surplus scrap account that we've accumulated over several years through bus sales and different scrap that we've hauled and sold. And so if you have questions for either one of us, and if not, I'd like to request that you guys approve the purchase.
Will this wrecker, and it looks like it will, pull one of our buses if they tire up?
Yes, very confident. That's what the wrecker service we use now, they use the same design, medium duty wrecker to come take our buses.
So if they tire up, you go out and get them.
When you get back to the garage. You know, there's been a couple of mornings we've had them quit, and we had one that locked down this week on hard scrabble with a parking brake. And if we hadn't been able to got that fixed on the spot, we could have went over and towed it and brought it back into the garage, or at least moved it and got it out of the road before we could work on it.
If it should, in the future, turn out with those 2 big silver pipes that go off the back, it would really be too pretty.
That would look very nice on it, wouldn't it?
It would.
It sure would.
It is. It's a beautiful piece of machinery.
Other questions? Thank you.
Well, thank you, Mr. Long. Okay, so with that, I'd like to recommend the purchase of the 2002 International Century Model 614 wrecker from surplus scrap funds from the Transportation Department for $37,500 from Revelation Towing, Mr. Chair.
Chair, have a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Second? Second. Any more discussion? I think it's a win, sis. All in favor?
Thank you.
All right, the next item on the agenda is personnel. And as always, I'll refer to the chair for executive session.
We need one, as far as I know. So at this time, the chair entertains a motion to go into executive session for the purpose of personnel. That's it.
In motion.
Yeah.
So moved.
Second?
I'll second that motion.
All in favor? We're done.
And we need to.
Chair needs a motion to come back into session.
So moved.
Have a second?
Have a second?
All in favor? Following executive session, no action was taken, but at this time, I need a, motion to approve the 3/7/17 minutes taken in executive session.
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Okay. Mr. Walker?
Thank you, sir. We can look at the meeting agenda. Item number 2 is personnel. And if everybody could open the personnel sheet, please. We have one resignation to approve, Chelsea Byers, effective May 31st, 2017. Make that recommendation.
Chair have a motion to accept the resignation of this personnel.
Motion to accept the resignation, Chelsea Myers.
Okay. Have a second?
You have a second?
All in favor?
We have 2 recommendations for new personnel. April Hodges as administrator and Matthew Price as administrator.
Chair have a motion to hire these 2 as administrator.
You have that motion?
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
That's it, sir. That's all I have for our call meeting today.
Chair have a motion to adjourn.
You have that motion.